Will you lead me to paradise?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to review Season 4, Episode 6 of BMF. The episode begins with another flashback in Mexico, and we find out that Terry actually let the boy, who Loco thought was a spy, go, and this results in these two getting the most poorly choreographed, made-for-TV fight that I've ever seen. And do you know that Meech had the nerve to say that this particular situation made him look at Terry differently, and that he feels like Terry's a liability? And I just want to let you all know from the beginning that Meech gets on my fucking nerves. I don't know what it is about him, but he irritates the fuck out of me. The episode then flashes forward to the present, and we are now in Detroit. We see Terry and Hoop having a conversation about Purdy, who survived the shooting, when Sean, who is from St. Louis, comes in and tells him that tensions are high between Push's people and the Moors in St. Louis. Sean also tells him that he heard that Pusha attempted to do a deal behind their back with Loco, and this actually throws Terry and Hoop off because they're just like, how does he know this information? Terry decides to pivot and tell Sean that he got a promotion, and that basically he's going to take over Push's position once he gets back to St. Louis. Speaking of St. Louis, we actually see Mickey, who is in St. Louis. He's on top of the roof. He's writing down wedding vows because his wedding is coming up soon. And then next thing you know, he gets this sinister look on his face. He goes into his bag, he pulls out a gun, and he aims it down at the little strip shopping center that's below, right? And as he is aiming, we see that Jake Pusher pulls up, and then he actually shoots. We do not see if he actually hit him or not, but he does shoot the gun. Later on, Mickey, Terry, and Hoop meet up, and Mickey tells him that he actually missed, but it's okay because word around St. Louis is that one of the Moors did it, so they are pretty much in the clear, right? And so Terry tells Hoop that this actually may be a good thing considering that Pusha and his people are currently beefing with the Moors, and so essentially they can pretty much take each other out. Speaking of the Moors and Push's people get into a shootout, and they were lighting each other the fuck up, do you hear me? It looks like Push's people were actually getting the upper hand, and it looks like they were actually getting ready to take all of them out. But then the Moors came back and shot the shit out of one of his people, and I was just like, damn, they clearly do not play in the loo. Next, we see Meech visit Purdy in the hospital, and she tells him that she's not sure she'll be able to perform again after getting shot, which is understandable to me, but not so much to Meech, considering that he spent so much money, time, and effort into getting her to where she is today. And so he decides to tell her about the time that he got shot, how he was able to push through, and this appears to motivate her to continue forward. There were two quick scenes after this, so I'm just going to put them together. In the first scene, we find out that Lucille maxed out her daughter's credit card, and we also find out that she's going to apply for welfare, even though Charles is still in the house. And then in the second scene, we see that Terry and Hoop, they're having a conversation about everything that's going on in St. Louis, and the two of them know that Meech is going to eventually find out what happened, so Terry decides to get on the phone and call Meech. But the conversation goes nowhere because remember, Meech is the toughest person in the world. He doesn't take orders from anyone, so therefore the conversation was pretty much going nowhere from the beginning. After this, we see Duffy in the interrogation room, and Vaughn brings in his father, who tells Duffy that the doctor told him that he's not going to be around for much longer, and I was just like, damn, that sucks. Duffy's father tries to convince him to get a detective some information, and then the conversation got extremely heated and extremely aggressive, and I was just like, hold on, y'all, let's calm down, breathe, and talk like gentlemen. The two of them are able to bring it down a little, and his father tells him that he wants more for his son, and that he needs to do what he needs to do to protect himself instead of trying to protect Meech, and I couldn't agree more. Vaughn comes in a little later, thinking that Duffy was going to snitch on Meech, but Duffy tells him that he's not a rat, and that he's going to stay loyal to Meech, like a woman who tells her friends she's going to stay loyal to her man after he treats her like shit. And I'll be honest with you, Duffy sounded like a little hoe in that moment. I'm going to just keep it real with you all. It's the day of the wedding, and Charles gives Mickey some advice and also helps him with his bow tie, even though his hand is fucked up. The scene then flashes to St. Louis, and we see Meech meet with Kia, aka Slugger, aka Sweetie, at a restaurant. She lets Meech know that people are afraid to come outside for their safety because of the war that's going on between Push's people and the Moors. Meech tells her that he's trying to get everyone together in St. Louis to rectify the situation. She tells him that there are people out there who are not going to like that and they're going to have a problem with it. And then Meech pivots and asks her if she can give him the names of all the people that Pusha has beef with. And she tells him that, you know what, she'll think about it. Back at the wedding, Bree shows up and Nicole tells him that she is pregnant. And I'm just like, Nicole, poor Thomas, sis. He asks her if she'll be willing to get an abortion, but she says no because she believes that if she does, she'll go to hell. He tells her that they're going to figure something out. And then he puts his hands on her stomach, and Lucille notices this, right? And so it becomes apparent that she knows that her daughter is pregnant. And she actually confronts her about it a little bit later. Terry comes in as they are talking, and he asks her if Warren's the father. And then Lucille calls her a loose goose, and I started laughing because I'm like, why would you say that about your daughter? Lucille, in this part, it threw me off. It was like I was understanding, but at the same time, I felt like she was going too far. She told her that she needs to go to the clinic and get tested for AIDS, and I was just like, wow, okay. After this, we see Meech. She meets up with Sean and talk about what's going on in St. Louis. Meech wants Sean to convince Pusha to end the war with the Moors. Sean tells him that he will talk to Pusha because he is down with BMF, and also tells him that Terry told him that he was going to take over operations in St. Louis once Pusha was killed, but that the shooter missed. And because you all know that Meech is the toughest person in the world who doesn't take shit from anyone, Meech gets upset, puts him against the car, tells him that he runs BMF and that all dealings need to go through him. After this, we see Worm meet up with Terry, who tells him that Nicole is pregnant, and tells him that he better do right by her if it turns out that he is the father of the baby. Terry then gets a call from Sean, who tells him that Meech is in St. Louis, and that he told him that he had no idea that he was supposed to take over operations in St. Louis. He also tells him that Meech is trying to initiate peace talks in the city. Next, we see Kia and Meech go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, and we actually get more information about the Moors, and we found out that a couple of them decided to branch out, and they actually started a gang, they sell drugs, and they kill people, right? After this, we see Lucille. She goes to the welfare office, and the lady that's helping her out tells her that she is pretty much at the cutoff limit for income. She tells her that she's going to see what she can do, see if she can maybe make some adjustments to get her under the income line, right? And so it looked like everything was going well. But then the lady stops once she realizes that Lucille wrote down that her husband still lives with her. Lucille tells her that Charles is injured, that he can't work right now. But the lady tells her that there's nothing that she can do, and she ends up denying her application. I was just like, fuck. Terry and Marquisha meet up, and she tells him that Boom is out of jail and that he's staying with her. Terry asks her if he's sleeping on the bed that he bought her, and I was just like, Terry, where the fuck else is he going to sleep? She tells him that pretty much she's using him to get information about his contacts in the streets so that she and Terry can expand, but Terry, he's not trying to hear any of it, and he actually storms out. After this, we see Lucille and Charles, and they get into an argument. She tells him that if he really wants to help her out, then he would just leave and never come back, and I was just like, damn, Pastor, is it really like that? After this, we see Terry. He goes to the house, and Boom is actually there. And it does not take long before these two start fighting, and this was actually a good one. Boom, he had the upper hand at first. I can't even lie to you all, but Terry was able to gain control, and he hit his ass with the lamp, and I was like, ooh. And it looks like he was getting ready to finish him off, but Keisha comes running in, and he stops. Terry throws Boom out, and then he and Keisha get into an argument, in which he tells her that he's glad that he let LaWanda hold on to the money instead of her unloyal, ungrateful ass, and then he leaves. After this, Meech, aka the toughest motherfucker in the world, visits Pusha and Sean to tell them that he's no longer fucking with them and that he's shutting down the warehouse in St. Louis. There was a quick scene after this where we see Abe give Vaughn a picture of Meech, and I believe it was Laz in the picture, and this seemed to pretty much get Vaughn back in good spirits because we know we took an L a little bit earlier when it came to Duffy. After this, we see Charles, and Charles is going through it. Charles tells Lucille that he feels like a failure because he's not able to provide for himself or for his family. Charles asked her if she ever loved him. And do you know what this type said? She said, God loves you. And I was like, Lucille, you ain't shit. He tells her that he feels useless and that he's not worth saving. And I was just like, hold on, OG, let's not talk like that, brother. I forgot to mention this, but Terry and Nicole, they are there as well. And so he tells all of them that he does not want to live anymore. And so Terry steps in and asks Charles if he still has the gun that he took from his bedroom. And if so, where did he put it? The scene then quickly flashes to Meech, who is meeting with the Moors, and they look, keyword is look, like they were getting ready to agree to work together. But Jay Pusha had other plans, and next thing you know, Pusha and Sean rush into the meeting. They kill the Moors and start shooting at Meech. Meech shoots back, but he's able to hide. And then next thing you know, Pusha shoots Sean, pulls his dick out, starts peeing on him. I was just like, is this how you all get down in the loo? After this, we see Mickey and his wife talking, and we find out that Mickey was the one who went to visit Lamar before his graduation, and that he was the one that was able to convince him to shoot at Meech and Terry, and that he missed on purpose when it came to shooting Pusha. And I was just like, wow, Mickey, you a sneaky-ass little motherfucker. But I do think it is very important to note that Mickey and his wife are unaware that Lamar is still alive. And so, based on what he did with his cousin, Mickey, you better watch it back. And that was the end of the episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you could, please like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be great. You have a great rest of your day. Bye.